what do we do, not with just with somebody who has $1 billion, but with people who have billions and billions of dollars, billions and billions and billions of dollars? Now, the Carnegies and the Rockefellers had enormous amounts of money back when they were in steel and oil. But something interesting happened during COVID. While the rest of us were busy trying to survive COVID and keep our jobs, and gosh, if you were in the restaurant business, you were in bad shape. There were all kinds of businesses that were shut down. Well, while we were losing money, something interesting happened. This is from a Reuters report from the, the Thomas Reuters Foundation. Emma Bartha wrote this. And I'm quoting, "The world's 10 wealthiest people more than doubled their fortunes to $1.5 trillion during the pandemic as poverty rates soared." That's according to a study released by Oxfam. The 10 richest people have boosted their fortunes by $15,000 per second, or $1.3 billion per day during the pandemic.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
During the pandemic, a new billionaire was created every 26 hours. And according to Oxfam, and again, it's Oxfam, take this with a grain or maybe a shaker full of salt, but inequality is contributing to the death of at least 21,000 people each day, one every 4 seconds. Again, that's according to an Oxfam report. Now, the news is not all bad. The world's actually getting way better. That's one of the things we talk about in the newsroom from time to time. Every day, about 100,000 people worldwide are lifted out of poverty. That probably stalled a little bit during COVID, but on the whole, it's been true for a number of years now. So the world is getting better, but there is this weird thing happening where you got people at the bottom, you got people in the middle, you got people at the top, and then you got these people way up here at the pinnacle. And they've got more money than some countries have. And so as a conservative, I'm thinking through this, and I'm not positive what you do with that. We believe in private property rights. If you make money, you're supposed to be able to keep it. But it also seemed the Carnegies and the Rockefellers also knew you give an enormous amount of it away too. And some billionaires are doing that. Mark Zuckerberg gives some away, or Zuckerberg, as we call him sometimes. Zuckerberg gives a lot away, but he gives it away to organizations that electioneer and try to tilt elections. What do you do when you've got 10 people here who make up about a tenth? That's double fortunes to 1.5 trillion. US GDP last time I looked was around 15 or 16 trillion. These guys have like a tenth of the wealth of the entire country. What do you do with that? Is that okay?
I think one of the biggest mistakes of conservatism has been just the all-out, loving, unending support for, capitalism is so great. It's amazing. Capitalism is good.
Free enterprise is
good. But there comes a time where there's some alarming things that happen, and I think we're seeing that. A lot of people don't realize that, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, all these people worth tens of billions of dollars. It's true. The left is right when they say these people don't pay taxes, because they don't. Because usually they take very small salaries from the companies they're involved in. Most of their assets are tied up in stocks or real estate that they don't pay taxes on. The only time they do is they sell some real estate, they sell some stocks. But other than that, they get to accumulate all this wealth and continue to accumulate wealth without paying any taxes, while the rest of us have to have a chunk taken out of every single paycheck.
I lose tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes, it's very frustrating. And when you go buy something at the grocery store and inflation is raging, that affects us the most. And so it's this really tough situation. I'm not sure what we do about it, because I don't want to sound like a leftist where I say, tax the rich, 80, 90%, steal their money. Yeah. But I also think that in modern America, there's been a fundamental mindset change where if you think about, before big government existed, if you needed help, where would you go first? You wouldn't go to the government. You'd go to your church and say, hey, I'm really struggling right now. I need help. You would go to your family and you would ask them. As you said, very wealthy families used to give a lot of money away. We don't see that anymore. Think about how different of a situation we'd be in right now if instead of the government, giving out trillions of dollars in stimulus checks, these really wealthy families said, you know what? we have all this money right now, and we see how our country is struggling. We're going to give up some of these money, and we're going to give it to people who are struggling right now instead of the government doing it, and we wouldn't see this issue. So I think there's been this mindset change in America among the very rich.
The voluntary element isn't there as much.
It's not there anymore. And it's frustrating because most of them are raging liberals, but they don't want to give up their money.
That's exactly right. I remember Rush, before he passed away, it was a couple years before he passed away, somebody was asking Bill Gates about tax rates, and they asked him about a few different rates, and they finally got to a rate at which Bill Gates said, I don't know about that. So, everybody ultimately is conservative when it involves their money.
Yeah.